Hello and welcome, and this is Japan, and this is my Fastlane prediction. Roundup. I don't know, picks. Yeah. So Fastlane this weekend has a lot of actually really good matches because about a week ago we really didn't know about anything that was really going to be in here except for Seth Rollins and Nakamura. It was just kind of like, well, think what this is going to be. We think this is going to be like we didn't have any clue, but they ended up putting a card together that was pretty good. Even though half the people behind me are not even on the card, but this is the promo thing that they had. So let's just jump into it. First matchup is the LWO versus Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, or the Street Business, whatever you want to call it, because I don't think they have a name yet. Um, I feel like it's supposed to be for the LWO. It's going to be Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar for sure, but they don't have a third member. And I feel like tomorrow on SmackDown, there's going to be something that happens, and I think the Street Profits are going to take out the other two members, so they're going to be one short. And this would be the perfect thing. And my bigger prediction of if we're going to see any guest stars come up, I think Carlito will be here. I feel like this is the way to go. I think they've been talking about it, and I feel like this would be the perfect way to put him in there. And I think he would have a completely different leadership style than Ray does. So that could put a lot of back and forth between the two, like one wanting to do stuff right, another one wanting to do stuff wrong. And that could make the LWO like a bigger and better storyline with actually propelling people and kind of having Santos Escobar in between and having the title on Ray, and maybe Carlito gets in the ears. That's a lot of thinking of what they that they could do with it, but I feel like that's what it's going to come here. But I do believe the Street Profits win either way. I think Lashley will end up pinning Santos, maybe. I think that's probably how it's going to end. I feel like the Street Profits, by turning them heel, you're going to want it to be a big match for them to win. They need that win, so I think that's going to be a pretty surefire lock as them winning. Next up, we have the women's title up for grabs. It's Io Sky versus Asuka versus Charlotte Flair. This one's an interesting one to me because they have really screwed with Io Sky's run as champion, and I feel like this is an opportunity that they might let her lose it, and I do not want to see it yet. We've had some great matches. I feel like Asuka being there is kind of the buffer to hopefully help Io win this, because I feel like they're not going to let Io, pin Charlotte. Like, if it was Charlotte versus Io Sky, Charlotte would be the new champion automatically, but I feel like it's going to be Io pinning Asuka. And Asuka's already putting in work by being on NXT on Tuesday, so I don't really see Asuka winning, because I feel like there would have been a bigger deal that you wouldn't, I just don't see that being like a match that she'd have. You never know, but I personally would want Asuka to win. I'm wearing an Asuka shirt right now, even though it looks like my avatar's just wearing a Leon cosplay outfit. But yeah, for sure, Asuka is who I would want to win, but I think it's going to be Io Sky retaining, but it's only because I think they're waiting a little bit for Charlotte Flair to, do something. I think she's gonna be fighting Bianca Belair at WrestleMania for the title. So I feel like they'll put the title on her at some point. But I think this is a safe bet that Io might survive, but it's gonna be rough. Next up is the undisputed tag team champions, Judgment Day versus Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. This match kind of came out of nowhere, and the speculation of having the tag team titles on it is a little crazy. I would say this match is a little bit cut and dry, that I feel like the Judgment Day are going to win. Obviously, they have the numbers advantage, and they're going to have a lot of shenanigans, but I feel this is another one of those speculations of having somebody extra come in. I feel like Drew McIntyre comes in there and fully turns heel and costs Cody Rhodes and Jay. So then maybe Cody or Jay could have a good rivalry with him afterwards. That would be my guess with it, because I feel like there's going to be a lot of interference with outside stuff, and I think they're just going to hold the title on him. I think it's a weird position having the Judgment Day have the titles, that they can't lose them anytime soon, but their runs are going to be kind of lopsided because they have so many storylines and they have the Money in the Bank. So it's kind of a weird thing for them to have that, but I have a feeling it's going to be something like that, where I feel like there's going to be somebody that interferes. I know a lot of people also fought Randy Orton. Um, it would be very cool for Randy Orton to come back for one, and then also to come back and take out Cody Rhodes or even Jey Uso. So that would be very awesome. But I think it's on a low prior, like a low, like very low on the totem pole that actually is going to happen. But I would still put it out there because there's a possibility, and it'd be nice to be correct. Just be like, oh yeah, I did say it. I didn't say it was permanent, but I said it was a good shot. Next up, another match that I feel like is going to be very interesting is John Cena and LA Knight versus Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso. I think the cards, are in the favor of Cena and LA Knight. I mean, obviously LA Knight is like completely over with everybody, and I don't see them really taking that away. Like, why would you impede LA Knight's progress of like being a megastar and like going over? Like, they would have to win. Plus, I think they've talked about it, and I don't know if it's a real leak, but John Cena versus Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel next pay-per-view, this would set that up because they would beat them, and then they could set up, why John Cena is in there to even just have another, battle with Roman Reigns. So I think that would be the way to progress it, is have them winning, beating Jimmy and Solo. I think it's going to be a great match either way, because I think they're really going to show off LA Knight as much as possible. And obviously seeing Cena back in the ring is going to be great. So, yeah, I mean, I'm down for that. I feel like it's a Cena and LA Knight lock, but that would be what I'm feeling. Last but not least, because it feels like it's a smaller card, like unless they announce another match, like which I normally do this on the Saturday that it airs, but then like I don't get as much traction because it's like, oh, it's just right there. So I'm gonna think that these are all the matches. So next up would be, and last, it would be the World Heavyweight Championship. Wow. Why am I struggling so much with words? Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura in a last man standing match. I think this is going to be a phenomenally long and amazing match where Rollins just crawls out of there, but still retains. I don't see them putting the title on Shinsuke Nakamura. I think like they would have done it on the last pay-per-view if they really were going to do something like that. I think they're going to have a great match. I think his heel work has been amazing. So like I think that's just perfect for Shinsuke going on, and I think Rollins is going to have just this terrible time, and could possibly set up something in the future for somebody else trying to take it after him. Also, I could see Damian Priest coming in and cashing in. Now, if you see my podcast, I have a theory about the Money in the Bank, but you'll have to watch that because I'm not going to explain it all here. But if this would be a great opportunity, and they haven't really hinted much at it, so I don't think it's going to be a thing. But yeah, that is kind of what I'm thinking. I think some of these matches are kind of cut and dry. I think like they're pretty like, hey, who's gonna win. I would assume I could see something crazy happening. To get like maybe one or two more people in there. Randy Orton, I think, is a small chance. I think Drew McIntyre is a much higher percentage, like 60%. There's a possibility. I'd say Randy's like probably in the 10. It'd be interesting to see Jade Cargill, but like if she's gonna be on Raw, it's not gonna really make sense to implement her there. And like Carlito, I think it's like an 80 to 85%, at least what I'm thinking. Somebody big to come in there and do it, and he's the only one I could really think of that would be kind of just out of there. Possibly you could say like Bad Bunny, but even then, I don't think he's like eligible to be working on it, because I think they would have teased it a little bit more than him just showing up. But those are my predictions. Tell me what you guys think. I'm really excited. I do hate that we're going to be missing a lot of the people. Even on this poster, there's like 3 people just not even in the match. Bianca, Rhea, and Becky Lynch. So, yeah, that's a little annoying. But, I mean, it makes sense. They got some big storylines going, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and just yeah, tell me your predictions and catch up on the podcast. It's every Tuesday, and if you like wrestling content, I got a bunch of stuff up in here, so hopefully you guys enjoy. Bye, guys.